Hi everyone, I hope you are all doing well and your families are well. The focus of today's lesson is on Excel. So we're going to be collecting data, organizing the data into an Excel spreadsheet, and using a couple of Excel formulas. All of this should really serve as review since you were supposed to learn the basics of Excel during City Seminar 1. But if you forgot that information, then today will serve as a refresher. So we're going to collect our data from Social Explorer, which you should also know how to use already because you should have learned about Social Explorer in City Seminar 1. So the first thing I want you to do before you get started on the assignment is make sure you read the assignment instructions, because once you read the assignment instructions, you'll know what data you have to look for on Social Explorer. So I went to socialexplorer.com. I'm going to explore the map of the United States. And notice in the assignment instructions, I asked you to focus on 4 zip codes within New York City. So I'm going to zoom in on New York City. Okay, so here's New York City. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to change the geography level. This is the geography level. And I'm going to change it to 5-digit zip code tabulation area. Because now all of the regions are separated by zip codes. So if you highlight over any region, it'll show you the zip code. For example, this is 11373. This is 10003. So at this point is when you should pick your 4 zip codes. You can pick any of 4 zip codes that you randomly see on the map, or if you already have zip codes in mind that you wanna look up data for, then feel free to use the zip codes that you already have in mind. It can be any zip codes that you would like, as long as your work is unique to yourself, so you can't have the exact same zip codes as another student. And as long as the zip codes are located within New York City, so within the 5 boroughs. So I'm not gonna do 4. I'm just gonna do 2 in order to save time. So I'll pick this one, 11221. And I'm just gonna open up my Excel sheet, create a zip code category, 11221. Type in the first zip code, and let me just pick another random one. This is 10029. I'm gonna also make a note of what neighborhood that zip code belongs to and what borough. So the next thing you'll have to do is the neighborhood name is not given to you on Social Explorer. So you're gonna have to Google the neighborhood name. So I can just Google 11221 neighborhood. And it tells me right here that neighborhood is Bushwick. So this is in Bushwick, and the borough is Brooklyn. So I'll do the same for 10029. 10029 neighborhood. I can see it on the map. That's East Harlem in Manhattan. So East Harlem, Manhattan. It's a good idea whenever you're organizing data into an Excel spreadsheet, it's a good idea to bold the columns so that it's easier for me to differentiate between each column if the titles are in bold. Okay, so I'm going to exit this, go back to Social Explorer, and start finding the information that I asked you to find. So remember the first thing I asked you to find was the population density. Population density is a category that automatically shows up when you go to Social Explorer. So I don't have to change the data yet, because when I highlight over my zip code, I'm shown the population density as the first value. Notice it says population density per square mile. It's 98,000, and I'll round it to the nearest whole number. So 98,059. 98,059. This is population density. Another thing when you're creating a sheet with data, if you ever have numbers that are being expressed using specific units, you should identify that in your sheet. So this number is specifically expressed per square mile. This is not just 98,059. This is 98,059 people per square mile. So I want to make a note of that because population density will not be the same as population. And that's why it's important to include the units in your title. So now I'm going to find the population density for my other zip code. 60,000, approximately 60,604. Remember, the other value I asked you to find was the total population, and luckily that is already listed as well automatically. The total population, notice, is the second value. So the total population for this zip code is 79,597. 79,597. And then for Bushwick, where is that zip code? 83,835. Okay. So the next value that I asked you to find, in order to find the next value that I asked you to find, you'll have to change your data. So once you hit change data, oh, and notice in the instructions, I asked you to specifically find values from 2018. So when you're looking up all of these values, make sure that the year 2018 is selected. So the next value I asked you to find is located under native/foreign born. So this category. And I asked you to find the population of foreign born. So you're going to have to click on foreign born. Now that that's selected, I can go back to my zip codes and it'll tell me the population of foreign born people. So let's look for 11221. So notice the population of foreign born. I don't want you to identify the percent, because you will be calculating the percent, but you're going to be calculating the percent on your own using an Excel formula. What I want you to jot down is the value below the percent. That's the total population of foreign born people in that zip code. So here it's 19,755. So I'm going to write that down. 19,755. And this is population of foreign born. So now I'm going to do the same for 10029. The population of foreign born is 18,648. So now what I want you to do is I want you to create a category called percent of foreign born population. So this will identify out of the total population in that zip code, what percentage of people are foreign born. So this is what I was talking about before, in which I said you'll be calculating that yourself using an Excel formula. So this is what the formula will look like. To calculate the percent of foreign born, you'll put an equal sign. You'll put, you're essentially creating a fraction, right? Because that's how we calculate a percentage, is by writing out a fraction. So remember, in the fraction, it's the part out of the whole. So in this case, the part is the amount of foreign-born people, and the whole is the total population in that zip code. So what you have to do is identify the cells. This cell is F2. This cell is E2. So I have to write F2 divided by E2 and then hit enter. And it gives me the percentage. When it gives you the percentage, it might not automatically come up in percentage form. So if it doesn't come up in percentage form, it might come up in decimal form for you. If it doesn't come up in percentage form, you can format it into percentage form using this button at the top. When you click that percent button, it'll format it into percent form, because it might have shown up as, let's see, do they have a decimal option? It might have shown up as this, as a decimal. So if it shows up as a decimal, you can highlight it, click the percentage, and it'll format it into percent form. So for the next cell, you don't have to keep on writing the formula for all 4 of your zip codes. You can just copy and paste the formula. And notice it automatically changed the notation. It changed it to F3 over E3. And it calculated the percentage for these 2 values. And then to exit the selection, you can press the escape button on your keyboard. So if you want to keep typing in the formula over and over again, you can, but you don't have to. You can just hit copy and paste. So what I want you to do next is I want you to calculate the average of these numbers. Again, you'll have 4 percentages because you're supposed to look up 4 zip codes. To save time, I'm not doing 4. But when you do have all 4 of them, you're going to find the average and just going to make a notation saying this is the average percent of foreign-born population. And what you'll have to do is you'll have to type in another formula, and your formula will say average. It will say equals average, and then you'll enter the starting cell and the ending cell. So my starting cell is G2. I'll use a colon, and then I want to go all the way till G3. Close parentheses, and it gives me the average. Last thing I want you to do is I want you to go to the residence category, and we're going to find the percentage of people that moved from a different county within the same state. So you're going to select this category here. Moved from different county within same state. And that category basically identifies in that zip code how many people recently moved from a different region of New York. So this percentage of people, a year ago, they were still living in New York State, but they were living in a different region of New York State. So I'm going to, once I've selected that category, I'm going to find my zip codes again. So this is 10029. And this time I want you to identify percentage. So that's going to be the first value you see. So the percentage is 3.65%. 3.65%. And if something like this happens, so if something weird happens, that means that you have to change the notation into percent form. For me, it automatically rounded it. If you don't want it to round it, you can change the amount of decimals using one of these buttons here. So if I use this button, that's saying that I want to show more decimal places. Notice it says increase decimal. So now it allows me to enter exactly 3.65% instead of rounding it to 4, which is what you should do. For that category, if you're given an exact percentage, you should enter the exact percentage. So this is percent of people that moved from different county within New York. So now I'll find that information for my other zip code, 11221. That's 3.01%. Again, I'll have to increase the decimals, since notice you saw that it rounded my value as soon as I entered it. Okay, and that's it. That's all I want you to find. If you complete this using an Excel document, you'll have to save the Excel document and upload it into the Blackboard assignment. If you prefer to use Google Sheets, that's completely fine. All of the formulas are the same on Google Sheets. All of the buttons to change formatting is also the same. So notice up here is the button to format a value as a percent. Here is the increase decimal places or decrease decimal places button. And then if you do use Google Sheets, you'll have to share it with me. So you'll hit the share button and just send it to my Gmail, which is katbenko@gmail.com.